Hey everyone, my name is Jen and I'm the Constant Crafter, and today we are going off niche for a second. I'm not making anything today, I'm not sewing today, but if there's something that I want to include on my channel that could possibly help somebody and that I'm really passionate about, and that is my 2 birth stories. I was set on having 2 kids, but after I had my first, I had a very traumatic end of pregnancy, very traumatic and stressful labor and delivery. Didn't think I would ever do it again. So when we decided to complete our family that we always wanted and have another one, I had to do everything differently. I have some advice to share with you, and it's not unsolicited advice because you clicked on the video. So welcome to my channel, and let's talk about trying to conceive. There's going to be 1 trigger warning on this video, so if you're not in a good headspace right now, I completely understand, and you can fast forward to this timestamp just to skip anything too emotional. I'm not going to spend too long on it, but it is important to how I did eventually get pregnant with my first son. So it actually took us 24 cycles to conceive. We did stop trying for the last 4 months, and I'll tell you why. So it ended up taking us 2 years. After the first 12 months, I did get pregnant, and I wasn't the type of future mom that was like, I'm going to keep testing. I'm going to test every single day after conception. Like, I do not like to waste that kind of money. So I waited and I waited. And then it came around where my period was like maybe 4 days late. And I was like, all right, I think it's time to test. And when I took a test, got the positive. So excited, ran to the doctor to get my HCG levels run. And they ended up telling me that they were a little low, which is fine because you will see with my second baby, my numbers were low as well. So they were like, don't freak out, just come back in tomorrow and we'll get your results and make sure that your numbers are doubling because that's what they want. The blood taken again. The next day I was at work and I started bleeding and cramping, and I was like, oh no, please no. And then when I called to see, if I should come in or what, they said, we got your results back and your numbers are declining, so you are having an early miscarriage. And then I did the absolute worst thing that anyone should ever do. And I was like, oh, it's early, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's fine, I'm fine, you're fine, we're fine. We're not fine. We're not fine. It was sad, and we should have taken time to just be like, that stunk. And we didn't. I literally was just like, it's fine. Everything's fine. And then that was in June. Then in October, we got our photos back from my friend's wedding, and I realized that I was the biggest I have ever been in my life, and I was devastated. How did this happen? So I took a look at my lifestyle and was like, wow, I am not living healthy, and all I want is a baby. And I'm like, no wonder I'm not having a baby, because I wouldn't give me a baby right now. I'm literally coming home from work, and if I don't have my second job as a dance teacher, I would come home from work, I would lay down on the couch. My husband was out working. He worked nights at that point. I would just watch TV, laying on the couch, and then I remember making pizza or chicken patties for dinner because I was home alone, no kids, it didn't matter. No, it does matter. It does matter for you to take care of yourself. And I remember some nights just crawling to bed. I was in a super deep depression, and I noticed it, I realized it, and I was like, wow, this is not good. I need to make some changes here. And so I was able to pull myself out of it. Now that we're all back together, so let's talk about November. I realized that I was 30 pounds overweight, the biggest I've ever been in my life, was not healthy living at all whatsoever. Fruit who? And so in December, I started to incorporate some fruits and vegetables back into my diet. And then in January, I went full fitness mode. I started the at-home fitness program, P90X, which was from Beachbody, and now I think it's Body. I was able to complete the whole program. Yes, it was hard. Yes, I did skip nights, but I ended up, even if I took a night off, I would give myself grace because of the 2 jobs that I was working, but I tacked them on the end and I made them up. So I did complete the whole program. I was very proud of myself. Ended up losing 25 pounds, feeling good, healthy living. Now I know how to eat and fuel my body in an appropriate way. And we were ready to try and conceive. A couple other key things for trying to conceive, things that I did differently. I downloaded a second calendar because I had been using one for that first year. And I was like, all right, I think I need a second one. And then I'll, meet the apps in the middle. Because what if this one is just like not targeting it? And this is the app we use for trying to conceive meditations, labor and delivery meditations. Unfortunately, it's not available on the App Store anymore, but I did do some research for you, and the individual audio tracks are available on Amazon. So I do have that link to my Amazon storefront. They are on there, and you can download them right to your phone. And these were crucial meditation tracks for trying to conceive in a positive labor and delivery. Also, now, 10 plus years later, if I'm getting worked up about something, I will go back to these meditations to calm myself down. I'm not even kidding. I would highly, highly suggest these tracks. After conceiving, I would like put my hips up on a pillow, lift my feet in the air for like 20 minutes, and then I would immediately put on my headphones with these hypnosis tracks. We ordered Ovulation Predictor test strips. So these are Ovulation Predictor test strips, or OPKs, and this is the brand that we use from Wondfo. I will always suggest these to anyone who is trying to conceive. These helped us pinpoint ovulation not once but twice. This is linked in the description, and it's in my Amazon storefront. These are my favorite. They helped me get pregnant with 2 of my children. Love them. And I'm not gonna lie, the first month that we used this, we started trying to conceive way too early, because as soon as I saw a little faint line, I was like, I'm ovulating, let's go, we gotta try. And then the line was dark for like 7, 8, just a long time. I remember just being like, the line is gonna get darker. You don't have to rush. So the next month, I waited a couple days and waited for the line to get like almost dark. And then we started, and then we went until it started to fade. And that was how we got pregnant. So the line will always get darker. I researched foods that were really important for conception. I remember eating a lot of guacamole because I heard that avocados are really good for conception. So I remember having guacamole like every night, getting my guacamole on. At this point, we had been trying for 20 months. And we had told each other we're giving it 3 more months. And if we don't get pregnant on our own in 3 more months, now that we have made all these changes, we're going to go into fertility treatments. I think the biggest factor was the healthy living, healthy diet and exercise. I think that really was the reason. And I actually ended up doing the same thing with my daughter. Unbeknownst to me that we were having another kid, had no idea we were going to decide so quickly and start. I'll get to that story. But we weren't. It was like a quick decision, but I had been dieting and exercising just before, there's my accent, before we decided to get pregnant with my daughter. And so I really do think that's the number one thing. So after 24 cycles, 20 trying, we took a break. We got pregnant with our first baby. Yay! And I was able to keep it a secret this time. I didn't like run into my husband and say, we're pregnant. I wanted to make sure that my HCG levels were good. So I made an appointment for the doctor. And it's funny because I was walking out of work, and it's like a huge garage, and the doors are just coming open and shut all day long, like 3 garage doors. Was walking out, and I remember being like so nervous, like, is this my baby? Like, is this it? Am I gonna hold this baby in my arms after 9 months? And I remember smelling pipe smoke, and my uncle, who had passed away, was always a pipe smoker. And I remember like looking around, like, who just walked by me that smoked a pipe? And nobody was around, and it's like borderline outside. Oh my gosh, my uncle just sent me a sign that everything's gonna be okay. And it was. This is our son. He's 10 now. So I left work, drove to the doctor's, got my blood taken. I wanted to get my levels run, and my levels came back 93. So they called me the next day and they said 93, and they said, don't freak out. It's a little low, but come back in today and we'll take your blood again, and then we'll have the results tomorrow. Make sure they're doubling. I did that. I went in, got my blood taken, and the next day when they called me, my numbers were 231, and they were doubling, and that's all they care about. A couple days later, I was in the office anyway, and I was like, can I just get my levels done one more time? And they said, absolutely, no problem. And they came back 1298. I was like, oh my gosh, my uncle sent me a sign not to freak out. Sent me a sign that this is my baby. Everything's going to be okay. Love you, Uncle Billy. Thank you. And we're back. And now we're going to talk about my daughter's trying to conceive, which is like super quick. My husband and I went into our storage room that had all of the baby toys in it, baby clothes that we kept because we wanted another child. But there was no plan. And we're looking around and I'm like, so are we selling this stuff or do you think we should try for another one? And then we kind of like thought about our lives in that moment and we're like, I don't know if there's a better time than now to have another one. So we made the decision like that. I put in my last menstrual period into the calendar and it was like, you're ovulating like any day. All right, let's start trying. I had expired OPK test strips from my first son and we were just like, let's just start taking them and see what happens. Again, the first cycle, we started trying to conceive too early, but we were like, maybe since, we haven't been trying to conceive for 3 years, my son was 3 at this point, maybe my body will just be like, oh, let's fertilize. We started trying with the dark line on the OPK, but again, it gets darker. And so we didn't get pregnant that first month. The second month, we waited until the line got a little bit darker, started trying to conceive, and we nailed it. We were really trying to not worry about it, to have fun with it. Also, if you count the months that it would have taken for us to have a baby, it was November and December when we started trying. And everybody's like, why would you have a December baby? And it's like, well, we had a lot of trouble trying to conceive our first son, so we just had to start. We didn't really want to wait because then we're 2 months behind if it takes us 8 months to get pregnant the second time. So it made sense for us. So we were having a little Christmas baby and we were so excited. This time when I got the positive pregnancy test, I did not run and tell my husband right away. I was like, let me go get my HCG levels run again. And the first time I got them run, my HCG level was 88. So still a little bit low, but it was super early when I found out. Not before my period was missed, but it was still early. So went back in, got my blood run again. And then the second time, this is the second child syndrome. I did not write down the second number, but it was doubling. And it was healthy and everything was fine. I cannot believe I forgot to write down the second number. So then that night I went to work and my husband and my son show up at work and I'm like, what are you doing? You never come here. And they're like, we're going to take you out to dinner. And I'm like, really? And so we were at dinner and I was like, this is the perfect time to tell him and this is going to be so fun. And then the lady comes over and I order this like dish that has this like tangy sauce on it, and I always get blue cheese with it, but I'm not allowed to have soft cheeses, and I know some people are like, oh well, but I like to follow all the rules just in case. And so she was like, is blue cheese okay? And I was like, yep. And then I was like, oh wait, and I like called her back. I was like, I look at my husband, I'm like, can I have ranch please? And she was like, yeah, no problem. And then I like look at him and I was like, so you must know now. And he was like, no, what? And I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant, I can't have blue cheese. And he was like, oh my God, you are? And I was like, yeah, I already got all the HCG levels run and everything's fine. And he's like, what? So that was exciting. So we were just talking about like having 2 kids the whole dinner. And my son he's 3 years old and he's just like tolerant. He doesn't know what's going on. So on 4/25, we got our positive pregnancy test. Thank you for listening to our Trying to Conceive story. And if you are out there trying to conceive, I wish you all the best. I'm sending so much support and I'm sending you a positive pregnancy test with a happy and healthy 9 months. Thank you for stopping by. Next up is our pregnancy.